What's going on, everybody? So this this is going to be my review of The Boys season 4, episode 1 to 4, which is for all intents and purposes episode's title, because I usually put the episode's title in there, but since and not, it's just gonna be no. We're gonna be talking about episode 1, Department of Dirty Tricks. Episode 2, Life Among the Spectics. Episode 3, We'll Keep the Red Flags Flying Here. And episode 4, Wisdom of the Ages. I guess to not make this video super long, let's just skim through the different talking points of each episode. So we're gonna start with episode 1, Department of Dirty Tricks. This is this is where we're reintroduced to everybody in the new status quo. We find out that the CIA has tasked the boys to eliminate Newman. Newman is Farah from Call of Duty. For those who play Call of Duty, they're here to eliminate her. But in the process of doing that, we find out in a hilarious way, especially in particular in this scene, is Huey and Butcher. We find out in a hilarious way that she's also, besides having the ability to pop heads, she's invulnerable. And that leads to MM, as you can see over my shoulder here. MM, who's the new leader of the boys, getting his butt chewed out by the CIA because they didn't have information prior. They were, the dude who played Bobby in Supernatural, who's the president in the boys. They're yelling at him for not being able to do it, and he's trying to explain. Well, we didn't have knowledge that she was invulnerable. We didn't know she was invulnerable. Our intel didn't even indicate she was, but now she is. She's invulnerable to basically everything. Like you can't throw acid on her, you can't shoot her. But there's gotta be a way to kill her. But and there's a way to kill her. We find out throughout the series there's this virus that can kill soups no matter what. So there's that. But in terms of just regular conventional means, she's invulnerable to it. One of the crazier episodes of this season is episode 2 and episode 4. But episode 1 does have a crazy scene involving Newman's daughter, is where Newman's daughter basically got one of her powers is like she has like these tentacles that comes out of her mouth, and this is where she tries Frenchie and Chemical. They end up going and catching her, massacring like these CIA operatives, and she tries to massacre them. Fighting, so she even tears Chemical's arm off and consumes it. We find out that Chemical is like Wolverine, basically. She got like Wolverine's healing factor. They even had to jump out this window. It's like a scene where like her face is all like broken. She had to reconnects 2 halves of her face, and like right down the middle, you start to see it like reconnect and reattach itself. And don't even leave and the scar that it would leave is even healing itself too. So it's like it's gross. Ryan does. This is the scene where that we see in the trailer where Ryan is confronted by Butcher. Butcher tells Ryan that he only got 6 months to live, and he's trying to make things right with Ryan. But Homelander does appear. He X-rays he X-rays Butcher and sees like a big black mass in his head, and it's assumed to be like cancerous. And he was like, "Oh, well, how much?" He's like, how much time you got left? Okay, as he knows when that bad mass that can't be good, and that Butcher is basically going is basically dying. And so he says the saying that we won't have our little showdown to the death because you're dying and whatnot. And he asked Butcher how much time he got left. But pretty much we found out that something has happened to Butcher is having hallucinations, where in the beginning of this episode it's like he breaks the fourth wall, but then you see later on he really wasn't breaking the fourth wall. He suffers from hallucinations, and and you'll be surprised who he's hallucinating. And actually, the person he's hallucinating is a returning character from the earlier seasons of The Boys. And we learn something happens to Huey's father, which is that he has suffered a stroke. So this leads us to episode. Wait a minute. It says what agent fed up with. Oh yeah. Also, too, Sister Sage is introduced in this episode. Because they was looking for new members, because they had to recruit new members for the Seven. We do see that we got a new Black Noir. Some guys playing Black Noir, but he could talk, and he's like a gem. Like he's like one of the funniest characters throughout this season, because because of the fact that he just keeps talking, and every time he talks and whatever he says, it's just super funny as hell. But yeah, this is Butcher. Homelander is aging, and he keeps all his gray pubes in a jar, which is gross. But he collects it and puts it in a jar and keeps it like in this podium stand in his house. Let's see. And the other thing is about the episode before we move on to episode 2 is that Homelander is up. He's basically getting irritated with everyone because they're so scared of him that they won't stand up to him. So this ended up leading to him recruiting Sister Sage, who is one of the smartest people in the world. That's like her superpower, that she's just like the smartest person in the world. And she has connections to A-Train. I think A-Train said her and him was like on the same like team together before he ended up getting to the Seven. And that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that episode. But yeah, she's going to help Homelander. Basically, the CIA. I forgot. This goes into Sister Sage. We also meet Jeffrey D. Morgan's character in this episode and with his proposition. And basically, they reveal both to Butcher and to MM in different scenes. They find out the same information, that the CIA and the government are afraid that the suits are going to take over the world and start World War III, a la like a concentration camp that the Nazis did. They keep all the humans in there while they won the world, and it won't be nothing they can do about it because they can't stop them. And I mean, the best way to stop them is to get Compound V, but Homelander got that locked up in his bedroom, so you would have to basically get past the craziest superhero of them all just to get Compound V to stop them. So, then we get to episode 2, which is Life Among Spectres. This is a gross episode. This is really gross. There's a guy who could multiply himself, and this episode deals with Firecracker. So this episode, Butcher tells the boys his remaining time to live, and he is kicked out for it because I guess in this episode they didn't know that he had 6 months to live. So they kicked Butcher out for that, but Butcher ends up tracking them because they go on the mission to spy on Sister Sage. They go fight. They go sponsor to say Butcher is there, and this is where we introduced to Firecracker. This is what Sister Sage is doing. She's at like this con called True Con. Billy and MM have a fight in this episode. Let's see, they're playing. They get set up, and they respond on Sister Sage. They get set up into a fight with Firecracker and the dude who can multiply himself. But the craziest thing in this episode, and I really mean the craziest thing in this episode, is the guy Splinter. Now the guy Splinter is played by the guy who played God in Supernatural. My God, there's a scene that calls back to a gross movie. That gross movie being the Human Centipede. The Human Centipede. Woo. What I tell you, do not, and I repeat, do not watch that movie. Do not watch the Human Centipede movie. You are warned. Do not watch that movie. Especially, I'll tell you this, do not watch that movie and be eating at the same time. Because I had a friend who's seen the Human Centipede. I never seen it. Never seen it. And I think they made 2 of them. Or 3. Jesus Christ. This world's come to it's going to hell. They made 3 of those movies, I think. I know they made 2 for sure. But he's seen the movie. And he told me, he's the one who told me, do not watch the Human Centipede and especially don't watch it if you're eating. If you're eating something and you watch that movie, it's gonna make you lose your appetite. The reason why I say this is because there's a scene in this episode. This is episode 2. We're only 2 episodes in right now. We're only on episode 2, and they already give us the most gross scene ever. Frenchie and Chemical goes following the multiplier, the guy, and they kept it's obvious that the multiplier guy is in love with Firecracker, right? Firecracker, who also, by the way, has a relationship with Starlight, as in they have a connection, not a relationship, but they know each other. From I guess from Starlight's pageant days. But it's obvious that this multiplying guy is in love with her, right? So they catch him in the act of giving himself pleasure to a headshot of Firecracker. But it's what was happening to him. Oh, so gross. So gross. Yeah. Let's just say later on, there's a funny scene when they fighting him, and Frenchie like, get off me, you pink eye. I'm like, oh God, he got pink eye from it. And the dude, he's trying to fight him, but he's like, he keep going like this with his eye, because his eye is hurting him pink. Oh God, it's so weird. Oh, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. It was. Oh God. Let's see. We talked about that. So yeah, that's basically like the fight. So the fight, what I was just saying, they had to fight both Firecracker and the multiplier guy. Firecracker escapes, and they end up killing with Butcher's help. They kill the multiplying guy, and you only could kill him by killing the Prime, obviously. Let's see. Yeah, A-Train starts to see like A-Train's guilt break here, and he's starting to help Huey and Annie, and he gives them files or something. So I'm thinking, I forgot. I don't know if this happened. I think this happened in this episode. Did this happen in this episode? Yeah, I think it happened in this episode. So basically, there was like a rally. We seen it a little bit in the trailer. So it was like a rally, and in the rally, something happens. Right? They get into a fight or whatnot. I think you see it in the trailers. I think that's where this is. That's what this episode is, with her doing that. That's from that episode, and she's trying to stop people from fighting, and this is where the guy that's connected to MM here, that's the guy who's like the stepfather to his daughter, goes missing, and we find out he's been having like these meetings with Sister Sage and them, and something happens that's another intense scene where Homelander forces them to do something. This time he's serious. Unlike the time when he was when he tried to I don't know if I talked about that. Did I talk about that? In episode 1, Homelander tried to make the Deep do something to A-Train because to prove a point out that they'll just do whatever he said because they're scared of him. And that time he told A-Train to do something. I mean, the Deep to basically go do something to A-Train with his mouth. But unlike this time, that time he wasn't serious. He said like he was serious, but at the moment where they was getting ready to do it, he stops them and says, "See, this was what I'm talking about. Like, get up, get away." He don't want to see them do it, but he's just proving the point. This time, when he tells them to do something, he truly meant it this time. And they A-Train, the Deep, and Nor does something. And that's why they was telling Sister Sage, because they were trying to figure out what happened, and they found out the results of what Homelander tells them to do. I won't tell you what happened, but the results of it we see the results of why they did this happen at this Starlight rally. That's why this rally happens where they fight, where the people that's from Homelander's side are fighting people from Starlight side. Also, Homelander is on trial. I forgot to mention that an ongoing thing in these first 2 episodes was that Homelander's trial for murdering that guy at the end of season 3, which is pretty which you're obviously you're told pretty early on that this is like a formality and that he's not going to even get charged with anything. That is that you could tell that more than likely it's just they just doing this as a formality and he's going to get away with it. And that's what happens. They actually does. They find him now guilty by doing that. He was assaulted by the guy, or the guy assaulted his son, and he was just protecting his son. But they do something here and one of the people that they does something to is the guy who's the stepfather to MM's daughter, and they use this as a way to frame the Starlighters. So it connects back. All this connects back to what I was saying about A-Train, where A-Train gives Huey and Annie files regarding the Starlighters' accused murder. Homelander says organized Ryan's first public mission. Yeah, so they do Ryan in this episode. They organize his first public mission. They get him out there. They introduce the world to him as Homelander's son. They practicing it, and they practicing they practicing it, and the guy's telling him look, they practicing his save. They telling him when they really have to do the save, he said, "I really want you to push me, because trust me, I could take it." He don't mean push him where you could kill him, but just push him for real. To make it look like he really pushed them down the ground or pushed them away from the victim. And as they practice this is where they practice it get ready for the day. And when the day comes, he's introduced to the world. He goes to make this save, and what ended up going wrong is that Homelander shows up. Homelander was not supposed to be there. Homelander shows up and encouraged Ryan to push him. But he told Ryan to do it, push him real hard, do it. And Ryan, he pushes him, and the guy goes flying, right? The guy goes flying, he smacks the wall, and it looks like what would happen if you picked up an ant and you threw it real hard at a wall, and it just splats. I'm just like, whoa, that's going to mess him up. So that's the start of Ryan's deteriorating relationship with Homelander. The other being that he keeps having these interactions with Butcher, what causes Homelander to get increasingly jealous. Okay, moving along here, so I can hurry up and end this video, so you guys not sitting here for 30 plus minutes. Let's see. Now we're on episode 3, so we're gonna go through this real quick. we'll keep the red flags flying here. Um, let's see. Homelander in this episode is he recruits Sister Sage. Um, they officially introduce. I should say, Sister Sage and Firecracker as the new members of the Seven. Um, but the thing is, they appoint Sister Sage here as the CEO, and in place of Ashley. So I think Ashley is reduced down to like Sister Sage's assistant, which she does not like at all. She does not like that. Um, let's see, Butcher meets a friend. Yeah. Butcher and the guy played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which his character is named Joe in here. They concoct the plan to steal Ryan away from Homelander, because they feared that Ryan would be the key piece in helping Homelander take over the world, him and the other Supes. And you find out that kind of white that the Supes think that they're the evolution, that they're perfect beings, and that they're better than humans. So they want the humans. They do have some type of, thanks to Sister Sage, some type of plot to take over the world. So the CIA's suspicion is confirmed. But they got a plan to take Ryan from them. And Ryan does come over thanks to Butcher. Butcher gets Ryan to come over. And they're going to use some drugged up cookies to steal Ryan. But Butcher ended up having to change the heart and just having an actual day with Ryan. He actually bonds with Ryan. And, he actually confirmed. He actually asked him, like, why did you say, like, about the things he said about him in the previous season. He said he just said those things because he was angry, upset about Becca, and that he's not, especially is the fact that he's not. He tells Ryan that he's not like a father material, that he shouldn't be a person to raise a kid, because he's not the right person for that type of job. He's not that person that could have been, that was taken from him a long time ago, thanks to Homelander and what happened with him and Becca. Let's see. We dive deeper into Frenchie's ongoing battle with his guilt over the guy who played Goss in Call of Duty, who do the motion capture and the voice for the character Goss in Call of Duty. He's also in this, so he plays. He's introduced like in episode 1. But they really they're connected. Him and Frenchie are connected in a way where something happened to the guy who played Goss's parents, his family, in a whole, I should say, not his father, parent, his whole family. Something happened to his family, and Frenchie knows about it. He's involved with it. He knows about it, and this continues to eat at him because he has like a relationship with this guy, and we find out he's bisexual. We do find out Frenchie is bisexual in this series, and he has a relationship with this guy, and he feels guilty about doing it because he knows what happened to this guy's family. So they're bond together, blah blah blah. MM gets A-Train to flip and give them clues about this meeting. This is the episode that he does with the 7 on ice, so that we seen in the trailers. So we get that scene here, and this is an interesting scene because as he's having MM gets A-Train to tell them about this meeting. This meeting is between Newman and Homelander. And Homelander, they're discussing some things that the boys would like to know, and Ryan has to go into the vents to spy on them. But the vents are hot as hell, and it causes Ryan to sweat. The sweat drips onto Homelander's little shoulder pad, and he smells it, and he can tell it's Huey, and so he's lasering the vents, and Newman, she's trying to tell him, don't kill Huey, because Huey will out me as a suit. Or they will out me as a suit if they do. And he's like, good. Maybe because part of the meeting they was having, he thinks that the world should know that Newman it's a suit, but Newman doesn't want to do that because she afraid that if the world knew she was a suit, she wouldn't be able to be president. Um, this was a tense scene by itself because of the fact that when he was lasering and stuff, and it was like a scene where he was running on this catwalk, and he's Homelander is going to laser him. He's going to get him, but ML intervenes at the right time, and he blinds Homelander with this spotlight. And instead of Homelander closing his eyes and stop lasering, he just ducks. He's just like like what anybody would do when you get a big ass spotlight hits you in the eye, you'll look away. But instead of closing his eyes he just keeps the lasers going and just looks away. But that laser swipes down and kills one of the actors, and thus it caused the actors to kill themselves. It was a very weird and intense and messed up scene. And they even had to have like a cover story for why it happened. Butcher's hallucinations gets worse in this episode, of course. You see, Frenchie also suffers hallucinations about his guilt over the guy who played Goss' family. Let's see, where's the big talking points here? This is where we find out about Firecracker and her hatred, why she hates Starlight. And it has something to do with a beauty pageant days and what Starlight did to her. This visually hurts Starlight as she didn't realize how cruel she was back then. And this visually hurts her. Let's see. Huey gets rescued by A-Train. That's how he escaped Homelander. Homelander was trying to laser and kill him. And then we get like the big reveal with Huey's mom and why we're introduced to Huey's mom in this episode and why she abandoned him. And it has something to do with the fact that she basically was suffering from depression, postpartum depression. And for those who don't know that's sometimes when women have babies, after they have babies, they could go into a postpartum depression. And she was suffering from that, and she even tried to unalive herself. And after she didn't, but it didn't work. And the reason why she left because she realized that has to been successful because of what happened directly after it failed. Because she said when Huey and them got home, they came in on the aftermath of her failed attempt, and she realized if it worked, Huey and them would have to see that horrific sight. Or at least horrific to them, as So she decides to leave, and that's why when this certain thing happened to Huey, he was spending his day with his mom, and then he never seen her again. That's why, because she was going through something. This is where the episode ends with to set up the next episode 4. Huey spent the day with with Butcher, came back home. Homelander can smell Butcher and they get into an argument, and he throws this at something at this base of himself, which causes Ryan to run in his room. Homelander goes and has this hallucination of himself, telling himself that to get the weakness out of him, to get this weakness of wanting to be loved by everybody about him, he needs to go back to where it all began, the room. So that's what episode 4 is. Wisdom of the Ages. And real quick, so we're gonna go through this real quick here. We're gonna go through this real quick. Wisdom of the Ages. Homelander basically returns to the laboratory, and this is a very intense. I can't express enough how intense this whole interaction is, because he's going to do something, but you're not sure. But then as the episode goes on, it's like, yeah, he's going to do something. So, Homelander returns home, and he interacts with. We find out that there's the people who was there when he was a kid are still there, but they also got some new faces, and pretty much he tortures everybody. The setup to the torture is pretty. Oh my god! Like, for example, there was a guy, when they was testing to see how invulnerable he is, they put him in his furnace. There was a guy who played waist basketball. And that guy, he said, you know what, we're gonna play waist basketball. And if you beat me, you can go home. You go home early, take the day off early, go home and see your family. But he never mentions what happens if he beats him. And as they talk about the past and how he learned this or what was going on, he has these flashbacks into the incident, and they make 2 shots apiece. And then he tells you know what, get in the furnace. You know, go ahead, get in the furnace. No, if you don't do it, your whole family's gonna go in there with you. So he gets in there, and as soon as he gets in there, Homelander closes the door and turns off the furnace. And as the guy is basically melting, Homelander is like oh my god, the visual of him melting. He even he tries to he puts his hand on the glass, like the little glass window that you can see in and they can see out. Whoever's in there can see out and you can see in. He puts his hand on there and bursts into flames. And Homelander makes the shot, he tries to shoot the shot, and he missed. And he said, I'll be damned, you would have won. And it was just messed up because he missed the shot, knowing that means that the guy would have made the shot, he would have went home. But he killed the guy before the guy could even do that. Then we get another one, where he goes up to the guy. The guy basically he said this is the guy that was always nice to him for the most part, because the guy had an incident where he named Homelander Squirt. And the reason why he named him Squirt is we find out is because Homelander, when he had a moment to himself when nobody was looking at him, he had to do what grown boys do and please himself. Please himself in a very sexual manner. And he got caught one particular time by this guy, and the guy laughed at him and named him Squirt. And he said that really hurt his feelings. So to get payback, he wanted that guy to basically pleasure himself in front of all of them. And when the guy couldn't get, he said, oh, you know what? If you don't get, I'm going to laser you off. So I'm like, holy crap. So the guy, he's going at it. He's trying, and just can't do it. And hold on, he's acting on the stage like, it happens. It happens to everybody. Performance issues, blah blah blah. Right, laser right off. And you just see this hole in his area. I'm just like, it went. Oh my, oh god. But this lady comes in, Dr. Finley. And she's the only person I forgot to mention too in this particular part. Anybody who called him John, he will correct him and say Homelander. But she's the only person who could say John, and he'd not say Homelander. He'll be like he actually would turn, listen to her, and she tells him to put the guy in his misery, and he does it. So you see that his connection with her is more different than the others. See if was an attempt to blackmail Firecracker. Yeah, they attempted to blackmail Firecracker in this episode, but Firecracker is like the worst they planned. If she wants they blackmailed her, but that she did something with a not so very underage boy. However, Firecracker reveals this to the public. I'm trying to play about revealing that the born and raised Christian again. And yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, so the way she basically they was gonna blackmail her with this, but she tells it to the public anyway, and then she makes up a lie about how Huey and them had an abortion, and just caused basically Starlight to beat the hell out of Firecracker, but Emil stops her to make her realize that she's on camera, which just ruins her relationship with Bobby from Supernatural, who's the president, because they had some type of deal. But then because of what she did, they had to he had to cancel their deal. Huey gets Compound V to save his father, in which if they do this, if A Train would give him a Compound V, they'd be square, in which it does. And something happened at the end of the episode to which you're like, holy crap. So this episode 4 by far was deep. I say it was better than episode 3, but this show is very political. It's very political. I should warn you about that. It's very political. Not a lot of fights, but the fights that do happen is mostly by like the boys. Not many. It's not many fights involving the suits. This besides Starlight and Kimiko, but they have more fights so far than Homelander. Homelander, when he does use his powers, it was just for torture. And speaking of which, that ending is what we saw in the trailers, where we saw in the trailer where Homelander is in the elevator with covered in blood. That's episode 4. And when you see what he did, my God, I'm gonna so overall, I would give just one whole rating. I would give this a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 big ups for all these episodes together, because they was pretty good. Individually, they is around the same thing. Most episodes got, I'd say individually, most episodes got an 8. But by the reason why I give the overall a 9 is because of that, how episode 4 was. That was crazy. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Without spoiling anything, you let me know what you thought of the boys. And if you enjoyed this, sorry for the long video, but I had to talk about 4 episodes. So if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. You hit this button right here for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much and want to support your channel, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. Because I'm trying to reach the 10,000 subscribers, and I need your help to do so. As always, hitting one of these videos for more of my amazing content. And don't go anywhere, because I will finally have just one episode review for episode 5. So, peace.